Me, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. I want to say shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. All right, may the blessing of election be upon your house. I got a couple clips for you guys that I'm going to respond to through the Spirit. Abaratazah, the lesson is edifying. There's a character in the show Game of Thrones called Jon Snow, whose reputation is sky high. It's such an inspirational character in the show. But it, of course, just like with anything they produce in Hollywood, it's going to have elements of the scriptures. And any character that has this super high integrity, they're going to take elements from Yahweh Shai. So I want to read John 15 and 13 really quick. Actually, I'm going to start at, I'm just going to start at 12. It says, "This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you." And how did Yahweh Shai love us? How did he show us love, right? Verse 13 says, "Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends, if you do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth. The mysteries have been revealed unto us." Primarily his servants, the prophets, Amos 3 and 7. "For the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth, but I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father, I have made known unto you." The Lord laid down his life for us, and we did not deserve it. You go to Romans, let's go to it real quick. Let's go to Romans 5 and 7. I'm going to read verse 7 and 8, but I'm going to read it in the NLT. This is Romans 5 and 7. It says, "Now most people would not be willing to die for an upright person, though someone might perhaps be willing to die for a person who is especially good. But God showed his great love for us by sending Yahweh Shai to die for us while we were still sinners." Most people wouldn't die for a person that's upright. But Yahweh Shai, he died for us, man, and we were pieces of shit. The scriptures say that our righteousness is as filthy rags. Whenever you think about that, bro, being about the Lord's business, being about righteousness, perpetually thinking about him, walking towards him is the least you could do. People say that they fear the Most High, but they don't truly fear him. They don't truly honor him or respect him, and you see it in their actions. Love is a verb. If you love the Lord, you keep his commandments. And the elect are going to be striving to the best of their ability to keep the Lord's way and his standard. Obviously, we're not going to be able to keep it perfect. We never was able to keep it perfect. Right? But we're going to be making our prayer before his face and offending less. Let me get that real quick, because I know I say that often the time. And just so you know what scripture I'm paraphrasing, let's go get it in Sirach. Okay, this is Sirach 17 and 25. It says, "Return unto the Lord and forsake thy sins. Make thy prayer before his face and offend less." Just to highlight the fact that you're not going to be in a place where you're not offending at all, but you can offend less. Okay? Those who truly believe and have faith and fear the Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, they're going to be doing their best to offend less. And they're going to be pardoned for that conduct. Like it talks about in Isaiah, the 55th chapter. Now we go back to John 15 and 13. We'll read it one more time. It says, "Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends." Now another precept I want to get to go along with this is when you go to John, the 10th chapter and 11th verse. I'm going to read that in NLT as well. John 10, 11. Salakia for the noise in the background. It's John 10, 11 in the NLT. It says, "I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd sacrifices his life for the sheep. A hired hand will run when he sees a wolf coming." And what you have in Israel, you have a lot of people who are hired hands. And now because persecution is coming, Now, because we're getting closer to the threshold of everybody picking a side, we see a lot of these hired hands leaving the sheep behind. Verse 12 again, John 10 and 12 in the NLT. A hired hand will run when he sees a wolf coming. He will abandon the sheep because they don't belong to him. He isn't their shepherd. And so the wolf attacks them and scatters the flock. And there's a lot of people who know they're Israelites in this time who are about to be scattered, man, because of these wayward leaders, these hired hands. You get me? Now it goes on. Let me see. I think it's some point I wanted in here. I'm going to jump to verse 15 here. In the NLT, John 10 and 15. Just as my Father knows me, and I know the Father, so I sacrifice my life for the sheep. I have other sheep too, that are not of this sheepfold. I must bring them also. They will listen to the Gentiles that were scattered, the scattered Israelites who were of the commonwealth at the time. They will listen to my voice, and there will be one flock with one shepherd. The Father loves me because I sacrifice my life so I may take it back again. He was able to conquer death through obedience. When you're void of sin, that gives you access to immortality. And for the people that teach that you can keep the law 100% and that they are keeping the law 100%, they're saying they have access to immortality. They don't get it. The immortality for us comes upon a return of the Lord when we're changed. Right, we get those new bodies. But they don't understand what, salvation entails fully. Let's go to 1 John 3 and 16. 1 John 3 and 16, right? All right, 1 John 3 and 16. Hereby perceive we love God because he laid down his life for us. We ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. So the buck is being passed. We're reciprocating the love that Yahweh Shah showed us by standing up against the evildoer, thus making ourselves a prey, as the scriptures say. Okay, now I got this clip on the screen because I talked about, Yahweh Shah's reputation and what he did for us. And the people in this show, Game of Thrones, they have such a great admiration for Jon Snow. This man who didn't have a birthright to kingship, but he was a king through his actions. He was a king through his conduct. All right, and Yahweh Shah first, but that great name, that great reputation is going to be attached to all the men of the elect. And it's going to be earned. We've been being groomed in the Lord's way and how to deal so that upon our test, we could earn those crowns that we're going to be given. Abaratazah, again, I'm a part of that number. But I'm going to play this clip for you all. This is the character Jon Snow in the show Game of Thrones. For those who haven't watched it, man, it's a good watch. But the guy on the right. And the scriptures also talk about let another man esteem. Let me get this real quick while I play the clip. Shalak, guys. I'm trying to find this precept. Yeah. Proverbs 27 and 2. All right. Should I read in the KJV? Which one do I like here? I'm just going to read in the KJV. Proverbs 27 and 2. Let another man praise thee in not thine own mouth, a stranger and not thy own lips. And that's what's going down in this clip here. Check it out.
This is Jon Snow. He is the first to make allies of wildlings and Northmen. He was named Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. He was named King of the North. Not because of his birthright. He has no birthright. He's a damn bastard. All those hard sons of bitches chose him as their leader because they believe in him. All those things you don't believe in. He faced those things. He fought those things for the good of his people. He risked his life for his people. He took a knife in the heart for his people. He gave his own...
I keep hearing stories about you, Boston. The way people in the North talk about you, you're the great swordsman who ever walked.
We know no king, but the king in the North whose name is Stark.
Jon Snow avenged the Red Wedding. He is the White Wolf. The king in the North.
The king in the North. King's
The king in the North.
Yeah. So in the show, the Jon Snow, the character, many a times he risked his life for his people. And you know, the Lord was dealing with him. He would deliver him out of all of these impossible situations he was put in. He stood one against 5,000. An army came. But a dragon came and burnt that army up on his behalf, you know, likening it into a chariot. You know, he was put in all these situations that were impossible, but the Lord delivered him out of them all. He was even killed in the show and came back from the dead. Who does that sound like? So again, in these shows, they always take elements from the scriptures. All right? But yeah, man, this is the least that we could do. And all of us, if we stay the course, we're going to earn an everlasting name, you know, as the scriptures say. Let me go to that. One of my favorites, 1 Maccabees 2:50. All right. It says, now, therefore, my sons, be zealous for the law and give your lives. There it is again. This common theme of laying your life down for something bigger than yourself. All right. Now, therefore, my sons, be zealous for the law and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers. Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time. So shall you receive great honor and an everlasting name, that reputation. Now, nobody's reputation is going to be as high as Yahweh Shai's. The scriptures even talk about it upon his return. He's going to have that name written upon his thigh that no man knew, that he himself, meaning a rank, a reputation that belongs solely to him, that only he really knows the cost of. You know? Man. Verse 51 again, it says, call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time, so shall you receive great honor and an everlasting name. And then it goes in this list of all the impossible feats that our forefathers overcame through faith. And then it talks about the downfall of our enemies. All right, 1 Maccabees 2:61. And thus consider ye throughout all ages that none that put their trust in him shall be overcome. We actually can't lose. When you lean upon the Lord, when you trust in the Lord, we don't lose. Now, there are going to be some that seemingly perish for the Lord's purpose. But if you understand the scriptures and how life and death works, you know there's no such thing as death anyway. The dead in Yahweh Shai are going to be raised up first. There's no such thing as losing for us. If you stick to the course, if you hold fast to what the Lord has given you, you can't lose. All right, verse 62. Fear not then the words of a sinful man, for his glory shall be done in worms. The scriptures also say, fear not him that can destroy the body, but fear him that can destroy both soul and body in hell. When you fear somebody, you move according to their standard. Okay? We don't fear this devil, and we're not attached to the things of his kingdom. So there's nothing he could give us, or there's nothing he could take away from us that we're invested in, because we're invested in the kingdom of heaven. He can't give or take that away. So we can't be manipulated by him, and we don't fear, his blessing of the sword to try to put us to death. So there's nothing he can do to us. We know that anything that is done on the earth anyway has to be sanctioned by the Lord first. Right? 1 Maccabees 2:62. Fear not then the words of a sinful man, for his glory shall be dung in worms. Today he shall be lifted up. Right now Esau's in his kingdom. He's lifted up. But we know also according to prophecy, as he knows, it's for an allotted time. It has an end. And we're at the end of this queendom. First Maccabees 2:63 again, as it reads, today he shall be lifted up, and tomorrow he shall not be found, because he's returned into his dust. He's going to be dragged back to that lowly estate that he's supposed to be in. Okay, what's that? Isaiah 47, sit in the dust, there is no throne. Today he shall be lifted up, and tomorrow he shall not be found, because he is returned into his dust, and his thought is come to nothing. Everything he's built up is going to be nothing. It's going to be torn down. All right, verse 64 in 1 Maccabees 2:64. Wherefore ye, my sons, be valiant, and show yourselves men in behalf of the law, for by it shall ye obtain glory. And we're auditioning for kingship, man. So keep that in mind every day. Keep it in mind every day. Abba Ratazah. This was a edifying lesson to you in some way, to whoever's listening. I want to give all praises once more to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. I want to give double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. I want to say shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters pursuing this truth and sincerity. May the blessing of election be upon your house. Shalom.